as Asura Dvit. He is the leader of all the demigods because all the demigods, including Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma, exist under his protection. The great saintly persons, sages, and Vaishnavas also depend upon him. To persecute the Vaishnavas, therefore, is the only way to kill Vishnu. Now, this is the demons talking here. Purport. The demigods and the Vaishnavas especially are part and parcel of the Supreme Lord Vishnu, because they are always obedient to his orders. Om Tat Vishnu Paramam Padam Sada Pashanti Suraya. The demoniac followers of Kamsa thought that if the Vaishnavas, saintly persons, and sages were persecuted, the original body of Vishnu would naturally be destroyed. Oh, that's a mistake. Thus, they decided to suppress Vaishnavism. The Asuras perpetually struggle to persecute the Vaishnavas because they do not want Vaishnavism to spread. Vaishnavas preach only devotional service, not encouraging karmis, jnanis, and yogis. Because if one must liberate oneself from material conditional life, one must ultimately become a Vaishnava. Our Krishna consciousness movement is directed with this understanding, and therefore the Asuras always try to suppress it. Yeah, they're always trying to suppress Krishna consciousness. 43. Sukadeva Goswami continued, thus having considered the instructions of his bad ministers, Kamsa, who was bound by the laws of Yamaraja and devoid of good intelligence because he was a demon, decided to persecute the saintly persons, the Brahmanas, as the only way to achieve his own good fortune. Well, Kamsa is in bad company, and he's getting very bad help or advice. The advice he's getting is really nonsense. Purport. Srila Lochana Dasa Thakura has sung Apana Karama Bunjai Samana Kahai E Lochana Dasa. Instead of taking good instructions from the sages and the sastras, godless non-devotees act whimsically according to their own plans. Actually, however, no one has his own plans because everyone is bound by the laws of nature and must act according to his tendency in material conditional life. Therefore, one must change one's own decision and follow the decision of Krishna and Krishna's devotees. Then one is rescued from the punishments of Yamraj. Kamsa was not educated. No, I'm sorry. Kamsa was not uneducated. That means he was educated. It appears from his talks with Vasudeva and Devaki that he knew all about the laws of nature. But because of his association with bad ministers, he could not make a clear decision about his welfare. Therefore, the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya 2254 says, Sadhu Sangha Sarvashastrikaya Lavamatra Sadhusanga Sarva Siddhi Haya. If one deserves his real welfare, he must associate with devotees and saintly persons, and in this way rectify the material condition of his life. Well, that is very good intelligence. Sadhusanga, Sarva Shastrikaya, Lavamatra Sadhusanga, Sarva Siddhihaya. If one desires his real welfare, he must associate with devotees and saintly persons, and in this way rectify the material condition of his life. Okay, now that is best uh, knowledge and advice that we can get. Text 44. These demons, the followers of Kamsa, were expert in persecuting others, especially the Vaishnavas, and could assume any form they desired. After giving these demons permission to go everywhere and persecute the saintly persons, Kamsa entered his palace. Okay, Kamsa, you're asking for serious correction here, and it's your own fault. Text 45. Surcharged with passion and ignorance and not knowing what was good or bad for them, the Asuras, for whom impending death was waiting, began the persecution of the saintly person. Purport by Srila Prabhupada, as stated in Bhagavad Gita 2.13. Dehinosmin yata dehe komaran yuvanam jara tata dehantara pratiras tatra namuyate. Very important verse. As the embodied soul continually passes in this body from boyhood to youth to old age, the soul similarly passes into another body at death. The self-realized soul is not bewildered by such a change. Irresponsible persons, surcharged with passion and ignorance, foolishly do things that are not to be done. Nunam pramata kurute vikarma. But one should know that the results of irresponsible actions, as explained in the next, but one should know the results of irresponsible actions, as explained in the next verse. Okay, now we're going to get the right information. Text 46. My dear king, when a man persecutes great souls, all his benedictions of longevity, beauty, fame, religion, blessings, and promotion to the higher planets will be destroyed. There it is. Now that's good advice. Thus then, the Bhaktivedanta purports of the 10th canto, 4th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled The Atrocities of King Kamsa. Well, King Kamsa is in big problem here. Chapter 5, the meeting of Nanda Maharaja and Vasudeva. As described in this chapter, Nanda Maharaja very gorgeously performed the birth ceremony for his newborn child. Then he went to Kamsa to pay taxes due and met his intimate friend Vasudeva. There was great jubilation all over Vrindavana due to Krishna's birth. Everyone was overwhelmed with joy. And that's good. That's the way it should be. Therefore, the king of Vraja, Maharaj Nanda, wanted to perform the birth ceremony for his child. And this he did. During this great festival, Nanda Maharaja gave in charity to all present whatever they desired. Well, I wish I was there. After the festival, Nanda Maharaj put the cowherd men in charge of protecting Gokula, and then he went to Mathura to pay official taxes to Kamsa. Hmm. In Mathura, Nanda Maharaj met Vasudeva. Nanda Maharaj and met Vasudeva. Nanda Maharaja and Vasudeva were brothers, and Vasudeva praised Nanda Maharaja's good fortune because he knew that Krishna had accepted Nanda Maharaja as his father. When Vasudeva inquired from Nanda Maharaja about the welfare of the child, Nanda Maharaja informed him all about Vrindavana, and Vasudeva was very much satisfied by this. Although he expressed his grief because Devaki's many children had been killed by Kamsa, Nanda Maharaja consoled Vasudeva by saying that everything happens according to destiny, and that one who knows this is not aggrieved. Well, what does it mean by destiny? That's what Krishna wants. So we should not be aggrieved. Expecting many disturbances in Gokula, Vasudeva then advised Nanda Maharaja not to wait in Mathura, but to return to Vrindavana as soon as possible. Thus, Nanda Maharaja took leave of Vasudeva and returned to Vrindavana with the other cowherd men on their bullock carts. Text 1 and 2. Sukadeva Goswami said Nanda Maharaja was naturally very magnanimous. And when Lord Sri Krishna appeared as his son, he was overwhelmed by jubilation. Therefore, after bathing and purifying himself and dressing himself properly, he invited the Brahmanas who knew how to recite Vedic mantras. After having these qualified Brahmanas recite auspicious Vedic hymns, he arranged to have the Vedic birth ceremony celebrated for his newborn child according to the rules and regulations. And he also arranged for worship of the demigods and forefathers. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has discussed the significance of the words Nandas tu. The word tu, he says, is not used to fulfill the sentence, because without tu, the sentence is complete. Therefore, the word tu is used for a different purpose, although Krishna appeared as the son of Devaki. Devaki and Vasudeva did not enjoy the Jata Karma, the festival of the birth ceremony. Instead, this ceremony was enjoyed by Nanda Maharaja. As stated here, Nandas tu atmaja utpane jata, jata lado mahamana. When Nanda Maharaja met Vasudeva, Vasudeva could not disclose. Your son Krishna is actually my son. You are his father in a different way, spiritually. Because of fear of Kamsa, Vasudeva could not observe the festival of Krishna's birth. Nanda Maharaja, however, took full advantage of this opportunity. The Jata Karma ceremony can take place when the umbilical cord connecting the child and the placenta is cut. However, since Krishna was brought by Vasudeva to the house of Nanda Maharaja, where there was the chance for this to happen, let me read that again. The Jata Karma ceremony can take place when the umbilical cord connecting the child and the placenta is cut. However, since Krishna was brought by Vasudeva to the house of Nanda Maharaja, where there was the chance for this to happen. Now, wait a minute. In this regard, Viswanatha Chakravarti Thakur desires to prove with evidence from many Shastras that Krishna actually took birth as the son of Yasoda before the birth of Yogamaya, who was therefore described as the Lord's younger sister. Even though there may be doubts about the cutting of the umbilical cord, and even though it is possible that this was not done when the Supreme Personality of Godhead appears, such events are regarded as factual. Krishna appeared as Varahadeva from the nostril of Brahma. And therefore, Brahma is described as the father of Varahadeva. Also significant are the words Karayam, Asa Vidhitvat, being overwhelmed with jubilation over the birth of his son. Nanda Maharaja did not see whether the cord was cut or not. Thus, he performed the ceremony very gorgeously. According to the opinion of some authorities, Krishna was actually born as the son of Yasoda. In any case, without regard for material understandings, we can accept that Nanda Maharaja's celebration for the ceremony of Krishna's birth was proper. This ceremony is therefore well known everywhere as Nandotsava. Yeah, they still have that Nandotsava in Vrindavan. Text 3. One second. Nanda Maharaja gave 2 million cows. Wow. 2 million cows, completely decorated with cloth and jewels, in charity to the Brahmanas. Just see how wealthy Nanda Maharaj is. He also gave them 7 hills of grain covered with jewels and with cloth decorated with golden embroidery. Wow. That's tremendous opulence in Nanda Maharaj's, and that Nanda Maharaj has. 2 million cows completely decorated with cloth and jewels in charity to the Brahmanas. He also gave them, that means he gave all that free. And he also gave them 7 hills of grain covered with jewels and with cloth decorated with golden embroidery. Wow, it's such opulence. Text 4. O king, by the passing of time, land, and other material possessions are purified. By bathing, the body is purified, and by being cleansed, unclean things are purified. By purificatory ceremonies, birth is purified. By austerity, the senses are purified. And by worship and charity offered to the Brahmanas, material possessions are purified. By satisfaction, the mind is purified, and by self realization, or Krishna consciousness, the soul is purified. Oh, now that's a very nice verse. Beautiful verse. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. These are the shastric injunctions concerning how one can purify everything. According to Vedic civilization, unless purified, anything we use will infect us with contamination. In India, 5,000 years ago, even in the villages such as of Nanda Maharaja, people knew how to purify things, and thus they enjoyed even material life without contamination. Text number 5. The Brahmanas recited auspicious Vedic hymns, which purified the environment by their vibrations. The experts in reciting old histories, like the Puranas, the experts in reciting the histories of royal families, and general reciters all chanted, while singers sang, and many kinds of musical instruments, like the uh, breis and dundubis, played in accompaniment. Text 6. Now, this is a real festival here. Rajapura, the residence of Nanda Maharaja, was fully decorated with varieties of festoons and flags, and in different places, gates were made with varieties of flower garlands, pieces of cloth, and mango leaves. The courtyards and the gates near the roads and everything within the rooms of the houses were perfectly swept and washed with water. Okay, that's purification. Text 7. The cows, bulls, and calves were thoroughly smeared with a mixture of turmeric and oil, mixed with the varieties of minerals. Their heads were bedecked with peacock feathers, and they were garlanded and covered with cloth and golden ornaments. Oh, just see how opulent Nanda Maharaj is. Unbelievable. Purport. The Supreme Personality of Godhead has instructed in Bhagavad Gita, Krishiko Rakshya Vanijam, Vaishya Karma Swabhavajam. Farming, cow protection, and trade are the qualities of work for the Vaishyas. Nanda Maharaj belonged to the Vaishya community, the agricultural community. How to protect the cows and how rich this community was are explained in these verses. We can hardly imagine that cows, bulls, and calves could be cared for so nicely and decorated so well with cloths and valuable golden ornaments. How happy they were. As described elsewhere in the Bhagavatam, during Maharaj Yudhishthira's time, the cows were so happy that they used to muddy the pasturing ground with milk. This is Indian civilization. Yet, in the same place, India, Bharatvarsha, how much people are suffering by giving up the Vedic way of life and not understanding the teachings of Bhagavad Gita. I know, that's a real downer. They are not understanding the teachings of Bhagavad Gita. Today, with all this knowledge, still there are so many people in India that are not uh, understanding the teachings of Bhagavad Gita. Text 8. O King Parikshit, the cowherd men dressed very opulently with valuable ornaments and garments, such as coats and turbans, decorated in this way and carrying various presentations in their hands. They approached the house of Nanda Maharaj. Purport. When we consider the past condition of the agriculturalist in the village, we can see how opulent he was, simply because of agricultural produce and protection of cows. At the present, however, agriculture having been neglected and cow protection given up, the agriculturalist is suffering pitiably and is dressed in a niggardly torn cloth. This is the distinction between the India of history and the India of present day. By the atrocious activities of Ugra Karma, how we are killing the opportunity of human society. I'm sorry, human civilization. Text number 9. The Gopi wives of the cowherdmen were very pleased to hear that Mother Yasoda had given birth to a son, and they began to decorate themselves very nicely with proper dresses, ornaments, black ointments for the eyes, and so on. That's called kajal, black ointment for the eyes. Text 10. Their lotus-like faces, extraordinarily beautiful, being decorated with saffron and newly grown kumkuma. The wives of the cowherd men hurried to the house of Mother Yasoda, and with presentations in their hands. Because of natural beauty, the wives had full hips and full breasts, which moved as they hurried along. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The cowherd men and women in the villages lived in very natural life, and the women developed a natural feminine beauty with full hips and breasts. Because women in modern civilization do not live naturally, their hips and breasts do not develop this natural fullness. Because of artificial living, women have lost their natural beauty, although they claim to be independent and advanced in material civilization. This description of the village women gives a clear example of the contrast between natural life and the artificial life of a condemned society, such as that of the Western countries, where topless, bottomless beauty may be easily purchased in clubs and shops and for public advertisements. The word Bali Brin indicates that the women were carrying gold coins, jeweled necklaces, nice cloths, newly grown grass, sandalwood pulp, flower garlands, and similar offerings on the plates made of gold. Such offerings are called bali. The words twaritam jagmu, jagmu indicate how happy the village women were to understand that Mother Yasoda had given birth to a wonderful child known as Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So that is our takeaway for today. And we'll stop here. And the takeaway for today is the following. The word Bali Bihi indicates that the women were carrying gold coins, jeweled necklaces, nice cloths, newly grown grass, sandalwood pulp, sandalwood pulp, flower garlands, and similar offerings on plates made of gold. Such offerings are called Bali. The words Twaritam Jagmu indicate how happy the village women were to understand that Mother Yasoda had given birth to a wonderful child known as Krishna. Jai Shri Krishna Bhagavan Ki Jai. Just see how opulent everything was 5,000 years ago. Just unbelievably opulent and full of joy. Why? Because they're following Sanatana Dharma. They're not engaging in meat eating, gambling, illicit sex, intoxication. No way, Jose. They're completely engaged in Sanatana Dharma activities. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And of course, chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. Well, we'll stop right there, my dear devotees, and we'll pick it up again later. So, what is our takeaway? Well, let's see what this is going to be. The colored men and women in the villages lived a very natural life. And for women, developed a natural feminine beauty. And the women developed a natural feminine beauty with full hips and breasts. Because women in modern civilization do not live naturally, their hips and breasts do not develop this natural fullness. Because of artificial living, women have lost their natural beauty, although they claim to be independent and advanced in material civilization. This description of the village women gives a clear example of the contrast between natural life and the artificial life of a condemned society such as that of the Western countries, where topless and bottomless beauty may be easily purchased in clubs and shops and for public advertisement. The word Bali Bali Bihin indicates that the women were carrying gold coins, jeweled necklaces, nice cloth, newly grown grass, sandalwood pulp, flower garlands, and similar offerings on plates made of gold. Such offerings are called Bali. The words Twaritam Jagmu indicate how happy the village women were to understand that Mother Yasoda had given birth to a wonderful child known as Krishna. Just imagine the joy and transcendental happiness these members of society 5,000 years ago, and how they were so fortunate to see the birth of Lord Krishna and to engage in all these ceremonies that were taking place. It's beyond imagination. Uh, the complete, let's say, immersion of love and devotion for Krishna 5,000 years ago is overwhelming, and it definitely is the real type of life we should be living. Hare Krishna. All based on chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra and protecting cows. That is the formula for being happy and peaceful and full of love and devotion for Krishna. Thank you very much, my dear devotees. Have a very good day and meditate on these things that we heard today. So, some of the takeaway for today is the following. The cowherd men and women in the villages lived a very natural life, and the women developed a natural feminine beauty with full hips and breasts. Because women in modern civilization do not live naturally, their hips and breasts do not develop this natural fullness. Because of artificial living, women have lost their natural beauty. Although they claim to be independent and a clear example of the contrast between natural life and the artificial life of a condemned society, such as that of the Western countries, where topless, bottomless beauty may be easily purchased in clubs and shops and for public advertisements. The word Bali indicates that the women were carrying gold coins, jeweled necklaces, nice cloths, newly grown grass and sandalwood pulp, flower garlands, and similar offerings on plates made of gold. Such offerings are called Bali. The words Twaritam Jagmu indicate how happy the village women were to understand that Mother Yasoda had given birth to a wonderful child known as Krishna, the Supreme Personality of God. Just imagine how happy the people were and full of joy and celebrating and with such transcendental feelings of love for Krishna. We'll stop there and meditate on this today. How much uh, the inhabitants of uh, the inhabitants uh, uh, of the cowherd men and women in the villages, how they lived a life that is very natural, and how women developed a natural feminine beauty with full hips and breasts. Because women in modern civilization do not live naturally, their hips and breasts do not develop this natural fullness. Because of artificial living, women have lost their natural beauty. Although they claim to be independent and advanced in material civilization. This description of the village women gives a clear example of the contrast between natural life and the artificial life of a condemned society, such as that of the Western countries, where topless, bottomless beauty may be easily purchased in clubs and shops and for public advertising. The word Vilabi indicates that the women were carrying gold coins, jeweled necklaces, nice cloths, newly grown grass, sandalwood gold coins, sandalwood, pulp, flower garlands, and similar offerings on plates made of gold. Such offerings are called bali. The word Twaritam Jagmu indicate how happy the village women were to understand that Mother Yasoda had given birth to a wonderful child known as Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama, Rama
Rama
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare.
All glories to His divine grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, and all glories to the culture of Krishna consciousness as practiced 5,000 years ago,
Hare.
where cowherd men and women in the villages lived a very natural life, and the women developed a natural feminine beauty with full hips and breasts. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Prabhupada,
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Jai Shri Krishna Bhagavan.